Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. Hello world, I'm Chris Pirillo, and this is the Locker Gnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short, your daily dose of tech news, gadget views, and answers that you can use. Did you win the iMac we just gave away today on our YouTube channel? Well, unless your name's Keith Cedergren and you've been in the Air Force for 19 years, 1 year away from retirement, the answer's probably no. But the good news is, even if you're not Keith, you should be happy for Keith, because someone had to get it. And don't worry, we're going to be doing more giveaways throughout the coming days, weeks, months, years, decades, eons, millennia. So be sure to remain subscribed to this channel and keep following us throughout social media too. There's the front page of LockerGnome.com, and if you hadn't already noticed, it's really easy for you to discover all the latest stuff we're making for you, because we're really making it for you. You see that link right there on the front page, Ask Us a Question Now? It's really Ask Me a Question, and we're going to take that question and turn it into an article on LockerGnome, so the entire community could potentially benefit from the answer, so long as the question you ask is detailed enough for me to answer. For example, one question asked by one of our viewers named Gary: do you think your business approach of being ad-supported is being saturated to the point where people become less connected to the content and what the internet was pioneered to do, connect people and enhance the human race? Well, I take the approach of concentrating more on me being able to deliver a value to you. And if I'm able to make a career from that, well, really, where's the harm? I mean, I want to help people. I love being able to pay the bills after I help people, but it only works if I'm able to help people. So when you ask me a question, kind of like that, I'm able to answer it effectively. And yeah, I think to a large degree, the open availability for anybody to create content has created somewhat of a glut in the marketplace, but that makes it all that much more important for people like you to turn to the people that you trust. And I'm very grateful that I'm one of those people you trust, and hopefully you would always trust me. And we don't always have to agree, but you apparently might like a little bit of my personality, maybe my opinions, maybe just the way I happen to do things. And really, that is what the internet's about. Not ads, but people. You're right. Keep in mind, those two things can coexist. Were you thinking about picking up a Motorola Droid Razer HD? Well, you may want to read our thorough review first. We dig into discussions around design and display, memory and data, the camera, the battery, pros and cons, and that's really the bottom line with any device. Because what you might find more valuable in one device may be completely different from somebody else's. A pro may be a con for you, and for somebody else, vice versa. So if you're looking for my advice on what gadget you should buy, I need to know the kind of person you are, and the kind of things that you like, and the things that you can afford. I gotta tell you, there's a great gadget for everybody. Here's an example of a really good question: how to remove a virus from Windows 8, asked by one of our readers, Jonathan. Actually, I don't know if he's a reader, a viewer, he's just a part of the community. And he asks, what security programs does he need to keep his laptop malware free? And how does he know if a recent virus is indeed completely gone? Because he got infected on Windows 8. We've had the sponsor support us before, and I have no problems recommending their product, even though it's not in conjunction with the sponsorship this time. Malware Bites. They've had the community support for years. And it looks like people in the comments thread are also recommending he use CCleaner. And by the way, did you know CCleaner is now available for OS X and Windows? MacBook Pro versus MacBook Air. Ah, yes, you may be wondering which is better for you. Well, for Anson Tam, another one of our community members, he is heading off to university next year and wondering which one he should go with. Well, my recommendation, generally speaking, is, well, if you're going to be walking around a lot, you need to do some general computing, save as much weight as you possibly can, in which case, the question you're asking, which one should you get? I'd go with the Air. Now, if you're not planning on moving around a lot as a college student, which I don't recommend, yeah, you could go with a Pro, but an Air is just so much more sleek. All right, another question from Mikey. Is it time for Apple to change its UI? He wrote me, and I quote, seeing all the advancements in UI that exists at the moment, such as one from Ubuntu or Sailfish, do you think it's time for Apple to revamp its UI? He says he loves his iPhone 5 and lives within the world of Apple because it works for him. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Even though I want more features and would appreciate some refreshes here and there, I don't know if Apple can move that quickly. Remember, they have millions and millions of people to address. I mean, people like my parents, they love iOS because now it's familiar. And if they were to introduce some radical changes, what would my parents do? They wouldn't want to upgrade. they wouldn't want to change. Well, at least to a new iOS device. They'd think about changing to another platform altogether, and that's not what Apple wants. So Apple will probably move the ball forward. I would like to see them move that ball forward sooner rather than later, but I don't think you're going to see many radical changes, certainly not overnight. Otherwise, all those users that have been used to the way iOS works might be dissuaded from upgrading. That's not to say that iOS isn't boring, because it's not boring. You might be bored with iOS, but iOS itself isn't boring. You're just bored. And that's okay. People get bored all the time. In fact, I'm shocked you're still watching this video. If you are, don't forget to like it. And speaking of the iPhone, reports of its waning popularity are probably overstated. And here's the thing. Apple legally can't say anything about it. Otherwise, they could get in big trouble. I don't know. Some analyst probably just pulled a number out of his ass, put it on the web, and said, stock price change. And certainly Apple is facing increased competition. We're not saying that that isn't happening. It's just that, well, Apple hasn't said anything one way or the other. Microsoft goes public with its plan to manage Windows, iOS, and Android devices. Yeah, it's something called the Windows Intune Cloud Management Service, or by way of its System Center 2012 System Management Suite. Demand for Samsung smartphones jumps to 23% in early 2013. What's going to stop Samsung now? I mean, they have everything. Smartphones, refrigerators? They make smartphones and refrigerators? Well, I guess if you can. Near final BlackBerry Z10 handset outed in hands-on video. I did not have my hands on a BlackBerry 10. I've only seen screenshots, and it looks good. The bottom line is, what have I said before? More competition is good. Kind of like my prostate. How's that for a visual? By the way, the new MySpace has launched. I'm there. My handle? Locker Gnome. Go figure. I'm also not sure if you caught this news. Facebook announced Graph Search. It's in beta, and you can sign up on facebook.com/graph search. Well, at least you can get on the waiting list for it. And the idea, I gotta tell you, seems rather novel. You basically just start typing right there in the top bar and start asking Facebook what you're looking for, like friends who happen to live in Seattle and like sushi. And then it'll show you a list of results. The first beta of Graph Search will include data from people, photos, places, and interests. The idea is you could just search for what you were looking for with your connections. Who are my friends who live in San Francisco? I could ask Twitter the same thing, and Twitter couldn't tell me. I could ask Google, and Google doesn't know. Where are all the photos I took when I was in San Francisco? Graph Search may have the answers. Interestingly enough, if you cannot find results from your Graph Search, it will fall back on Bing search results. Honestly, I don't think there's an easier way to get to all the data that your friends already have and have shared anywhere else. I haven't tried it yet. Very few people have, but you can get in on the beta. Our question of the day brought to you by GoDaddy.com. If you want to save any amount of money on ordering anything through GoDaddy, email me first, and I'll send you my latest list of coupons. Chris@Pirillo.com. Now, the question came in from LockerGnome.net. How to make a successful blog and videos. I swear, I get this question every 5 minutes. It's a popular question. It's a good question, but it's also a question that's really kind of simple to answer. You just got to do it. And I realized that just doesn't sound right because you're looking for some kind of formula for success. But here's the thing. With blogging or vlogging or videoing or whatevering online, ultimately, people are going to be attracted to people. Your personality. I mean, there are people out there who hate me. And you know what? I'm fine with that because I would rather have you hate me than not care about me. There's a difference, right? Hate me or love me. That's where I want you to be. I don't want you to not care. Ambivalence is the enemy. You could put content out there all day long, but is anybody going to see it? Is anybody going to care? Get to know your community. Have your community get to know you. And if you can't make those connections, well, maybe you're just covering the wrong things, or maybe you're just not in the right places. You've got to go where they are, because you can't always expect that they're going to come to you. It's one of the reasons why I'm very grateful when you guys take the time to like and share the videos and the articles that we're creating for you on a daily basis. How else are people around you going to know what you're interested in? How are they going to get connected to this community? And I know so many of you out there want to do the same thing. You want to cover technology because it's fun. But what are you going to do differently than anybody else? I mean, just because you write something different doesn't mean that you are different? Where's your personality? Let that shine through, because ultimately that is going to win you a community. And then it's your job to keep that community going and growing. It's like in our free Locker Gnome app for iOS or Android. By the way, we're pushing updates down the pike very soon. I've got a top user section so that at any given time, I can flip over and see who is our top engager today. And I can tell you, Dan Brown uses this all the time. I see his name and his face all the time on Twitter, Facebook, and inside this app. And today, our top user is Teletoppin. After all, I couldn't have just given this iMac to myself. I mean, I guess I could have, but it wouldn't have been as much fun. So you should be thinking about your personal voice as much as you think about the quality of the content that you're putting out there. Connect with people. People want to connect with people. They want to connect with you because we share these interests. And again, thank you if you do take the time to participate with us, to share the things that we are sharing with you. You're just making it, well, that much more satisfying to do what it is we do. And that's not just creating content, it's creating connections and creating community that you're a part of. We'll see you later.